y'all, my name is Jasmine Jones. I am a licensed clinical social worker, and you are now watching Black Girl, a Therapist in the Wild. This is a little show I like to call Therapist Sips and Reviews. And today we are reviewing P-Valley Season 2, Episodes 9, Snow, and Episodes 10, Higher Ground. I got the name of the episode wrong last video, and that is okay. We are trying. We are trying our best. So anyways, how y'all doing? I got my nails back. I am in the press-on nails game now. Etsy got like a whole situation with these nail artists on there, and they out here giving these nails away for $20, painting murals on them and shit. And you know what? This is nice. I like this. You can take them off when you want. They don't horribly fuck up your nails, and they don't cost $100 just to get them done. So you know what? I'm gonna rock these for, not to say that I will not go back to the nail shop, because I do not want to run my nail ladies out of business. Because you know, they deserve their money. They artists too. But you know, when you, it's nice to have other options. That's all I'm saying. Anyways, let's get into it. So, as you know, when we do 2 episodes, we're just gonna go by character, and we are going to just kind of go through both episodes at the same damn time. Yes, squad. So anyways, we start off episode 9 with Andre. He is on his campaign trail, and he is using strippers to fundraise. So that was Haley's idea. And apparently, this is a world where sex workers aren't put down or looked bad upon, even if you are trying to campaign for office. So you know what? I'm just going to say this is a different dimension for this to have worked in his favor, for him to come so close in the polls. So anyways, you know, this is an episode of pre-celebration for Andre. And, you know, through this episode, you just see him he's at the club. He goes to the Pank to celebrate because it's, you know, Keyshawn's night, her last dance or whatever the fuck. And, you know, him and Haley hook up. You know, Haley's still out here getting niggas and shit. So she out here just plotting for her own damn self. And, you know, Andre's wife shows up. And so I guess they both, you know, just figure we both cheated on each other, but we're going to stay together. And then in the next episode, Higher Ground, Andre ends up losing, of course. And he decides, in front of the people, not talking to his wife first, of course, he decides that he's going to stay in Chucalissa, open up a law firm, and live there. Yes, and his wife is just standing there next to him because he said this in front of the crowd. So why would, you know, she cuss him out in front of the people? You know what I mean? They're trying to still play face and shit. You know, and Haley's just watching all this. You know, she's there observing, because her goal in life is based off of what she can get. Let's go to Haley next. We're going to do the lighter characters. I mean, Haley's not a light character, but like she wasn't seen as much, and her tail just kind of fizzled out. I don't know if she's going to leave the show, because she's been on other things. Like this actress has been in Harry Potter, The Discovery of Witches. She's a whole British woman, I think, because those are British, you know, shows. And so I'm just like, is she about to go off and just become a movie star at this point? And then she was in this. So like, you know, yeah. So Haley is out here. She thought that she was going, because the referendum passed for the casino to get built. So she out here celebrating in her head. She going to get that 10. She just knew she was going to get that 10 million. I was just like, I don't know, girl. Something seems up in the air, seem funny and shit. And yes, that white woman said no, and Corbin done sneak thiefed his way. So I didn't know that's what Uncle Clifford was doing in episode 8, when she was talking to Corbin. And basically talking about, you gotta make the water come to you and shit. And I was just like, what's she talking about? I just thought she was talking about giving Patrice money. But no, Corbin is basically having a canal built on his land so that the casino can be built on his land. And so they're moving the casino to his, because there's some law in Mississippi apparently. I don't know if this is real or not, but they said it on the show where casinos have to be built near the lake or the river or the water, whatever the fuck. So that's what Uncle Clifford had been doing. Uncle Clifford had been sneaky going around Haley, and that's why Corbin gave her that check for $250. And basically what Uncle Clifford did was give Haley back her $250 that she put into the paint and bought the paint back. And then Corbin basically still got his casino on his land and still got all that money and shit, because his whole life he has wanted to be a white man. I don't care what nobody says, and he has been punishing himself for the drops of black that has been in him. That's what that BDSM shit's about. He's getting whipped like a slave because he hates the black in him. He just despises the black. I don't care what nobody says. No, that's his trauma. Because we can be BDSM and get whipped and shit, but you know, when that's added to all the other hints of self-hatred, that just adds to it. If it was BDSM by itself, nigga like getting whipped, he just enjoyed it, it's fun, it's exciting for him, that would be it. No, this nigga doesn't like that he is mixed. He's been treated as less than his whole life. This is the point where he can show up his brothers, and he wants to be white. This man wants to be a full white man. And it's been hinted at by various people in this show that this man wants to be a full white man. I think even Uncle Clifford hinted at it when she came talking about the water and shit. There's a lot of mentions of water in this show. This is some spiritual shit, like grandmother didn't drink the water. I guess that means that, you know, grandmother didn't want to die. I read something somewhere about water and spiritual shit. Let me know what it means. It means something. It's something, okay? The water means something, okay? So they sneak thief Haley. Haley get her $250, but that's not enough for Haley. Haley won't interest. She like, I want interest. How this is, you know, I built this place back up during the pandemic and blah 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 blah. And then here come Big L talking about, I think hiding a dead body is interest enough. And then Diamond come up behind him like, yup. And so Haley just storm on out, and this bitch gonna do exactly what she has shown that she will do. She went in and stole all the money out the bank. Negative $24,000. That's how much was gone. It was just like, see, I would have gave her like, I wouldn't have given her the whole 250,000. I would have gave her 200,000 and kept the 50, because this bitch is sneaky. And you know, okay. So my thing is, if it is not a regular charge that you usually make, they can call it as fraud, and the bank will give them their money back. Mostly, maybe, because I mean that's what the bank does when you call. I mean, maybe sometimes it don't work. I think they're gonna get their money back though. They'll be fine. That's why they wasn't tripping too hard. It wasn't like fall apart. Oh no, they'll get their money back. So Haley goes off into the sunset and disappears into some town somewhere, somehow turning around, smiling. She got her 2 babies. She ain't got 1 baby. She got 2 babies. And she's going off into the sun. Who knows if she'll be back next season? They left the door open for Haley. I feel like she's getting other offers. The bitch was in Harry Potter. She was a small part in Harry Potter, but then to go from Harry Potter to A Discovery of Witches, which is a decent show, and then to go to this show where she's headlining the show, you know, there's nowhere but up for this light-skinned woman in the entertainment industry. Okay, I said what I said. She's a good actress too. I can't say she can't act, but still, y'all know partially what it is. Fuck y'all. Anyways, so who else? So then we go to Mercedes. So Mercedes, she wants the headline for Keyshawn Knight, but Mercedes still ain't got it together with her arm. She can't get up on a pole. She's still fucking up and shit. And so Autumn slips Keyshawn in, knowing that Keyshawn is just there to pick up the bag and leave. So Mercedes act like she mad, but her and Keyshawn like this. They like sisters. And I love how they showed that they were like sisters, that they cared about each other, you know. And Uncle Clifford said something to Haley in the second episode. She was like, you could have had a sisterhood. You could have had a family. Haley is jaded. Haley is hurt. Haley may just not have the capacity for empathy at this point in time based off the shit she's been through. All she can see is, how can I save myself? How can I save myself? So she's traumatized. So she done shut that shit off emotionally. I ain't gonna say that she's like a narcissist, sociopath, or nothing, because she wouldn't have cared about Keyshawn. She would have just been like, well, that bitch getting beat. It ain't none of my business, like everybody else did. But no, like, she just, when you go through so much, sometimes you just get to a place where you just shut everything off, and your modus operandi is survival. How can I survive and live through this situation? So Haley don't give a fuck. Haley could have had a family, but she ain't open and trusting. She got trust issues. So that's closed. That shit's closed. So, but Keyshawn and Mercedes, they are sisters, and that shit is fucking beautiful. So, they had this whole scene, and I think everyone knows that Keyshawn's gonna run tonight because, like, the way they keep looking at her and acting around her and shit like that. I think they all know. And so Mercedes gets upset and she leaves the rehearsal. And then she goes to, what's her name? Faye? The coach ex-wife. They going to be soon to be ex-wife. Yes. The coach soon to be ex-wife exhibit. And basically she had put all of Mercedes' pictures from the poll up, and that was the exhibit. And it was magnificent. It looked beautiful. Artistry. It was magical. And so Mercedes just like in awe because she ain't never seen herself like this before. She just been like, she been in survival mode too. Mercedes been in, but she ain't cutthroat like Haley is. Like, Haley is in survival mode and she don't give a fuck. She gonna cut whoever she need to get to wherever she needs to go. And so Mercedes is in there and she's just like in shock and awe. Everybody want to fuck Mercedes. So the wife still want to fuck around with Mercedes. Maine across the street at this point, before he got all stupid, still want to fuck Mercedes. Everybody want to fuck Mercedes. See, people want to fuck you more and more as you're healing and moving away from certain parts of your life that were toxic. They just see the confidence glowing in you and they want to rip that shit and take pieces of it. Just snatch it off of you because they feel like they can't do it on their own. And that's sad. But Mercedes maintained her boundary. When you maintain your boundaries, that keeps people from ripping pieces of your confidence away. So Mercedes maintains her boundaries and she's like, nah, girl, I ain't trying to fuck you. Mercedes wants her gym and she wants her daughter, which she ended up getting, and it was magical. See, and there's still room open for a Mercedes storyline because, like, she's still in Chuckalisa. She ain't going nowhere. She down the street. So Mercedes ends up like Faye, whoever her name is, sends Mercedes some royalties, like $30,000 in one of her pictures. So Mercedes got her gym. She gonna open a stripper class, a pole class. And so she was up in there dancing. And here come Patrice ass. And at first you be like, Patrice be pouring it on thick. And you think that she has changed and evolved. But that's how them narcissistic, sociopathic motherfuckers be. They're charismatic. I always think of Regina George from Mean Girls. How sometimes she's really, really nice and sweet. But it's always to get what she wants. Or to make someone else feel bad. That is the cutest skirt I've ever seen in my whole life. Where did you get it from? Oh, my dad got it from... Oh my gosh. And then when the girl walk away, she like, that is the ugliest fucking skirt I've ever seen in my life. Yes, that is who I see in my head every time somebody who has a pattern of being inconsistent and being evil just all of a sudden is nice. I just be sitting there looking at them as they talking. I just be like, right, girl. God, you found God? Wow. Because I don't trust that shit. Now, I'm not going to automatically say that you didn't work on yourself. I'm just going to not give you any leeway into my life until I've seen a long history of consistent patterns and consistent positive behaviors. So like we can hang out, yeah, but you ain't coming to my house. I ain't going to your house. We hanging outside in public. Oh, we can talk about shit, but you ain't knowing my deepest, darkest secret. I'm not telling you shit that you can tell other people. Or I just might not even want to I'm not doing that. Like when Regina George invited, whatchamacallit to the Halloween party. Now, if you ain't seen Mean Girls, y'all need to see Mean Girls. That is a lesson in white woman culture that we all need to learn. Okay? Just like, whatchamacallit, It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Just like that show showcases white culture. Yes, I didn't know what that show was about for years. I started watching that show a month ago. I was like, all these people on here are narcissists. One seems to be bipolar. And they're all just doing fuck shit. And they're all feeling like they're entitled to do this fuck shit. And they're gross. And they don't bathe properly. And and it's just like this is white in their natural habitats. These are the whites in their natural habitats. Everybody need to watch Mean Girls. Everybody need to watch It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, because those two shows, movies, whatever, showcase white culture perfectly, the toxic side of white culture, and it's magnificently done. So yeah, those things have over time prepared me for life and how these bitches can be. So, you ain't gonna come into my life and show and act nice after you've been mean to me for however long and all this other bullshit. You're not about to do that. So, Patrice come in, she's talking about Shell and how Shell has been drinking, and you see Mercedes' face when Patrice looking at her pole dancing picture. She want Patrice to give her a compliment. Her face was like, and I was just like, girl, oh, she love her mama. See, that inner child. Just like I said in the last video, we like dogs. Children are like dogs. You can beat the shit out of a dog. That dog will love the fucking dog shit out you. Don't matter, and will think it's their fault because they're dogs. Children are the same way, because children, if you get them in that period of time where they don't realize that other people are individuals and they have feelings and they do things because of those feelings and not because of them, then they will think everything you do has to do with them and it revolves around them, and it will stay that way for the rest of their lives. And that's what your inner child is. It's that little person inside of you that thinks everything is your fault, no matter what. And if that part of you is traumatized, you ain't gonna become an individual person until you go to therapy. And so she just wanted her mom's approval on that picture. You saw it, and her mom gonna turn around and go, I was just like, because her mom was like, is that you hanging up there on that pole? And Mercedes was like, yeah, that's me. Something you like it, something stupid like that. And then her mama was just like, and turns around. I'm just like, you bitch, you bitchity bitch. You see her with them puppy dog eyes over there, you bitch. You did that on purpose. And she gonna talk about Shell, and Shell just wants forgiveness, and then some people just want to be forgiven, and and then she gonna pull the rabbit out the hat. The real reason that she there is to drop Terica off, because she don't want to watch Terica. I don't think she gave Mercedes Terica to get a second chance. That's not in that bitch. You will not pull a Regina George on me and be like, oh yeah, she just changed her heart and she just saw that Mercedes needed her child. No, bitch. She gave Terica to Mercedes because she ain't got it in her to watch that child. You see how she treated Mercedes. She can't be treating that child like that and be the mayor at the same time. She ain't stupid. She knows herself enough to know that. See, these evil motherfuckers know what they do. They just don't want to work on stopping the impulse to do it. They just be like, I don't give a fuck. because it takes empathy to care how you treat other people, and they don't got the empathy to care. So that lack of empathy makes them lack the motivation to want to change. They don't care about the consequences of their actions because they don't care about the other person's feelings. So there's no motivation to change. Like, that's why most of these people, they just work on themselves so they don't go to jail. Because they don't want to be in jail. Like, that's the only reason why these evil motherfuckers, they don't want consequences. So if they're not getting consequences, like you being sad because they called you a little bitch isn't a consequence to these evil motherfuckers. They just like, look at them sad. It's too bad. No, that's why y'all be looking at the tools that these evil people use to be evil, like racism and sexism and homophobia and transphobia and God. Y'all be looking at the tools that people use to be evil. And it's not about the tools. The foundation of it is, I don't like myself and I'm scared. That's it. I don't like myself and I'm afraid. I don't like myself. I feel unsafe. I don't like myself. I need to survive. I don't like myself. Fuck everybody else. That's all it is. And then you pick something. So let's say your family's cycle of trauma is racism. So you just pick that. And then you just like put all that I don't like myself and shit into that bag of racism, and you start hitting niggas with the bag. Like, whenever you get overwhelmed, fuck niggers, bitches, fuck the Mexicans, bitches. Because you're not mad at the niggers. You're not mad at the Mexicans. You're mad because your boss yelled at you today, honey. And you can't yell back because you need a job. So you tried to pick something that you felt was weaker than you because you already feel weak today. Sugar pie, honey bunch. You already feel weak today. So you're going to pick something that feels weaker than you in your head. And your parents have been talking about the Mexicans and the blacks ever since you were a baby. So obviously they're weaker than you because you get it from your mama. And so we're going to throw that hate bag at them today because, or at our child. Or we're going to use God to judge people when we know there's a whole verse talking about thou shalt not judge. I think that's 10 commandments in there, and all of the commandments are the same. So that means that, you judging people is going to get you the same punishment as you murdering mother. I'm just, you know what I mean? So you just using tools of hate to deal with your own self-hate. Yes, God. I could be a preacher. I could be Patrice. I don't know. That would be weird standing up in front. This is easy. I'm just looking at the camera. If I don't want to read the comments and people say fuck shit, I don't have to look at the comments. But then to stand in front of people and have them looking at you, and then you got your anxiety mind misconstruing certain bodily emotions. And then you got your logical mind trying to tell you that you tripping, while at the same time you're trying to sound articulate and talk. I don't know how public speakers can do it. I mean, one day maybe. So, Patrice is an evil asshole. And Mercedes probably gonna love her mama to the day she die. And that is the plight of being a child. It is what it is. And we all, it's nothing wrong with being a child. The Bible says we supposed to be innocent like little children and not care about shit and just be happy and shit just to get into heaven. So there's nothing wrong with that. It's just the fact that you corrupted this child that stays with this person forever. That little baby child that you were that was hurt stays with you forever. That's why you can't hurt children. You saw her little puppy dog face when that bitch was looking at that picture. That's her inner child. She wanted an accolade, a smile, a smirk, something that was positive. That bitch said, It's just like, you bitchy bitch. But Mercedes got her, Jim. And fuck Patrice, because Mercedes got her child too. Even if it was just because Patrice didn't want to be bothered. Doesn't fucking matter. She got her fucking child. And so she gets her child. Shell is in rehab where she needs to fucking be. Patrice is the mayor. Who knows what she's gonna do? I need a season 3. I need to see her destroy this town. Maybe she won't. Maybe she won't. She ain't stupid. Just because she evil don't mean she's stupid. Like, I don't think she gonna do too much. She ain't reckless and overt like Trump. Just wild. But I could be wrong. But I could be right too, because she didn't take that nigga's money. She put that nigga on blast and said, fuck you for giving me that money. And then that was a good strategy. So I don't know. This bitch is a strategist. So I don't know. She ain't reckless like that. She seemed reckless when she get pushed to the edge. But when she not pushed to the edge, this bitch is calculating. So I don't know. Okay, let's get to the meat and potatoes. So, Little Murder and Clifford is still fucking around. Clifford just upset because her grandmother is in the hospital. Clifford calling constantly. Also at the same time, Clifford sparring with Haley and shit, trying to get the club back open and shit like that. And then Lil Murder trying to decide if he want to go on tour or not. So he got his whole little show with Megan Thee Stallion. They call her Tina Snow in the show. So I'm assuming that she is this character that she made up, Tina Snow, and that she's not Megan Thee Stallion in the show. I don't know. They keep calling her Tina Snow, so it was like whatever. It was cute though. She was in there. She was having fun. It looked like she was having fun. I would have had fun too. She was just on the set, probably having fun. Like, oh look, I'm on the set. Shit, she probably gonna be in movies and shit next. Who knows? Mm-hmm. And so she on the set having fun and shit like that. And you know, Lil Murder and Cliff making googly eyes at each other and shit like that. So, you know, if you standing next, you know they like each other. Because Tina looking at them like, okay, well, shit, fuck it. And, you know, they got on the stage and they was rapping. And then the niggas that was friends with the dude that Murder shot, they was the gang members that go with, I don't know these gang names. I don't know these gang colors. I don't know these extra character names. I don't know who that nigga was that he shot. I don't know his name. He was a gang member. I know it's wrong. You know what I mean? But it's just like, why we gotta have gangs? Why we gotta kill each other? You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of healing we need to do in the black community. You know, I go on tangents, so I don't give a fuck. I saw this video of this reality TV show of these rich white people on the reality TV show. I think it was the Hamptons or something.
The major difference in black versus white parenting.
I'm watching this show on Amazon. It's actually a really good show, believe it or not. But it's a reality show, and I want y'all to just peep this. I'm about to press play. Hold on.
In your field, there are no jobs out here. No, not for my major, just any job, like waitressing, bartending. No. Why? No, you find a job in your field right off the bat. Alright.
So, what are you going to do after the summer? What are your plans?
I'm still not sure. You know, I'm a computer science major, so for me, if I can come out of school with a computer science degree from the University of Michigan, that'd be fantastic. But once I achieve that, right, I still don't really know, because I don't know what I'm interested in, unfortunately.
Of course, you're not supposed to.
Yeah, but like, I have my insecurities about it, to be honest.
You know, Elon, I really, really feel that you put yourself under a lot of pressure.
I certainly didn't know when I was in law school what kind of law I'd be practicing where.
I never thought I'd end up in the Congress of the United States for 32 years.
And I changed my careers midway.
I changed my major like 8 times.
Exactly.
So, we'll see what kind of job I can get.
You have a job already. Your job is to figure out who you are and what you love. That is your job at 21, and you're doing everything right. All you have to do is be prepared to grab opportunities.
It's a little bit stressful.
But it shouldn't be stressful. It should be fun. Life is in the journey. Stop worrying.
So you need to find a job.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
And you need to move out.
And it was this black mom and her daughter and this white family and their young son. They both had just graduated college or whatever. And this black mom was harping on her daughter to like, you need to get a job. You need to get a job now. And I was just like, While this white family was looking at him like, what do you want to do when you get out? What do you want to do for your future? He was like, I don't know yet. And his uncle was just like, well, I didn't know what I wanted to do at first, but, I figured it the fuck out eventually, just take your time. And they were just like, you can live in the back house and here's a stipend and figure out your life. And I'm just like, why can't black people be like that? Generational wealth is we get the wealth, we build the wealth, we give it to our children, they figure out their fucking life. Children don't have to be lazy just because they don't have things figured out yet. If your child is lazy, they will show a pattern of laziness, of unmotivation. And usually that pattern of laziness is a lack of motivation. And usually there's a mental health reason behind their lack of motivation to do shit. You should take them to therapy instead of making them feel bad and calling them lazy. How about that? And so usually, just like in the white families who let their children just figure out their lives laissez-faire like this, they have freedom to explore themselves, understand themselves more, travel the world on your dime just because you're rich. We're talking about the rich people here and maybe some of the upper middle class folks, people that are in middle class and poor and whatever, even them, it's not about, okay, so if you're middle class and poor, obviously you can't afford to like have your kid just in the house sucking up resources and shit like that and into their adult years. That's difficult. But there's a way that you can come together with your child and just simply explain that in a nice, calm way. Like, hey, little Marcus, we don't have the money to have you in the house without like you chipping in a little bit. And I know it's going to be hard, but I'm going to help you so that you can find you a nice little job or something to kind of help out. Because this is difficult and we only make a certain amount of money a year and we got y'all up out the house, so most of your siblings figured it out and went to college, but I know it's taking you some time and it's okay that it takes time sometime to figure yourself out. I ain't judging you, but we still need some help with putting the food in the refrigerator and paying the bills because we are poor. Just be honest with your child. They grown now. We are poor. We are below the poverty line. And, so we don't need you to help out. So if you could give us like an idea, an estimate of how long it may take you to get a job. Like I said, we'll help you with that too. But like, how long do you think it may take? And they can be like, can you give me like 3 or 4 months to try to figure some shit out? And I'll be like, okay, yeah. And it's not like you just be like 3 or 4 months and then I'm kicking you out the house. No, that's your child. So 3 or 4 months, we come back together. You still ain't got a job. We talk about it. We keep on figuring it out until it happens. But you don't do it in some hateful ass way. You don't do it in some like, you're the responsibility of the family now lies on you. I don't want to have to deal with you anymore type ass way. Like, you don't do that shit. Like, the fuck? No. Like, if you can't afford it, you can't afford it. But at the same time, you need to be talking to your children like their opinions and feelings and emotions matter and shit, instead of making them feel like less than and like shit. Now, for the upper middle class and the riches, the rich ones, y'all got enough money. You can fund your child until they figure it the fuck out. Because that's how most of these white people end up making 6 figures and their children make 6 figures or above, and it continues down the line because they got to figure out their creativity and their life goals and their life pattern. They had enough time to do it. They didn't feel rushed and stressed about it. So, like, let's see. Look at remember that show Paris and Nikki? Not Paris Hilton, because they put her ass in some kind of like camp and she was like abused and shit. But Nikki looked like she grew up in like a pretty decent ass family and shit like that, and she got time to figure her life out. It looks like most of these rich white people look like they got time, and eventually they got to a place where they were successful on their own too. They didn't just have their parents' money, so they must be doing something right, because most of these people's children are rich and they didn't have to be forced into doing this, that, and the other in order to get there. That's all I'm saying. You know what I mean? They didn't have to be made to feel like shit in order to get there. You know what I'm saying? So, I'm sure there's some outliers. These families are abusive and they're pressuring and whatever. But it looks like for the most part, these folks is out here doing whatever the fuck they want most of their 20s, and then they settle and buckle down in their 30s, and then they become rich too. And then their family invests in them, and they take that money and then they grow it. They grow it like a tree. Okay, their family plants money into them, and they grow that money like a tree. See how it works with the white folks. I'm just saying, you win more flies with honey. That's all I'm saying. With kindness, consistent kindness, because you can't know Regina George a child. You can't, like, out of the blue, like, after decades of abusing them and yelling in their face and calling them little bitches, be like, oh, I'm gonna be nice to you now. You can't do that to a child. Like, they're not gonna just, and you can't do the reverse either. You can't be nice to them their whole life, and then when they turn 18, be like, oh, you have to get out of here now. You're 18. Like, bitch, you can't Regina George a child. So anyways, he's on stage, he's doing his thing with Tina, and then these niggas come out the blue and start fighting him. So the dude he killed, his mom, his girl knows that Lil Murda did it. Like, she don't got no proof, but she know in her heart that nigga did it. And so they fighting and shit, and they trying to get a Lil Murda and Tina, and then whatchamacallit, Diamond come out with this big ass gun. I'm just like, why he got that big ass gun? Like, and they start fighting on the stage, and they have to kick all them niggas out. And so they ain't think that Lil Murda did it. And Lil Murda just, like, he just standing there like, like trying to protect, like, oh, Keyshawn was on stage and she was on the floor and she was hiding. And then this nigga Diamond gonna jump up and scoop her up and like some superhero and shit. And then they go in the back and then they kissing. And then Lil Murda, he gets back up and he goes in the back, and then he's talking to Mercedes, and then Mercedes is listening to his song. So Mercedes is like the big sister to him or some shit. I think she used to babysit him or some shit. So then him and Mercedes get back on stage, and then Mercedes does a magical. She was magnificent. I'm telling you, these strippers are like Cirque du Soleil. I think that's why I don't like male strippers, because I'm just like, you go to a female strip club, like, these hoes is on these poles doing, this is like a cheap Cirque du Soleil. Like, I can go in there with $100 worth of one. Cirque du Soleil about like $100-something in Vegas. You go in there with $100 full of ones, that's cheaper than Cirque du Soleil, nigga. Just throw them ones and they just be flipping and shit. And I was just like, that's magnificent. And then she just does this flip down the pole and then does a splits in front of this thing, and I was just like, that was magical. And then they had the camera and her ass was coming down and it was like all the colors, and then it was the angle, and it was magical. It was magical. He did a good job. She did an amazing, masterful, she has talent. That woman has talent. I follow her on Instagram. She's really doing those things. She said she hurt her body doing that shit. Fuck all that. Fuck all that. Because I don't want to be uncomfortable. Like, I'll just watch. I don't be uncomfortable. So anyways, him and Clifford are in bed, and then he talking about leaving and going on tour the next day, and Clifford was just like, oh, Clifford just like so dramatic, just like a damsel. But I get it, like, she just like has completely decided that this nigga does not want to be with her, that she will ruin his life, and she doesn't want him to resent her, and so she's trying to push this nigga away and all this other stuff. And then this nigga show up at her grandmother's, birthday event, welcome back event and shit, playing her favorite song, Pretty Brown Eyes, because I got the brown eyes, bitch. And he's standing at the jukebox, and she walk up to him, and he all like, hey babe, and she like, what the fuck you doing here, nigga? And he like, come and talk to me, bitch. And they talking, and he telling her that basically he ain't gonna go on tour with Tina Snow, and fuck them niggas, and he wants to be with her and all this other shit. You know what? And then he was like, he was telling her the story about Teak and how they met in prison and shit, and how they met kind of sounded like rape at first. But you know what? We're just gonna let it go because they fell in love. So I don't know how to feel. I don't know. There's a such thing called consensual, non-consensual. It's like a whole fetish and shit. So you know what? So I'm just gonna, I don't know. There is a thing called that. So I'm just gonna, It looked like rape at first. He was like, I had him kidnapped and locked in the utility closet with me. And then, that first time was rough. It's just like, we did what we had to do. And I was just like, and so, that was his nigga. They was in love. And they was in love. And they was in love. And so it just felt like rape. It sounded like rape. I'm just saying, he raped that nigga and then they fell in love and then they fucked over and over again. Prison is a different environment. People using sex to like soothe emotional wounds and shit like that. So, it's a whole other beast. I can't even say nothing. I ain't never been. I'm not going. Oh, Jesus. I'm not going to prison. So I don't know. I don't know, our jail or any kind of locked up situation. Praise. So, I can't speak on something that I've never been a part of like that. You know what I mean? And so he was telling him the story about Teak. Then he told him Teak killed himself from him. So he was just like, is that why he killed himself? Because I never came out the closet and I couldn't say it in public and whatever the fuck. It was shorter than that, but I couldn't remember exactly what he said. So, I don't think that's, you can't stop somebody that wants to die. That nigga killed him. He was having flashbacks about his mama stabbing his brother in the chest and shit. So see, that's why we can't internalize extreme things that people do. I was talking to a client today and I was like, we can hurt people's feelings, by our actions and our words. We can make them feel an emotion by our actions and our words. We don't control how they respond to that emotion that they feel. We don't control that. So you control that. So, I am guilty of making you hurt. I am not guilty of you deciding to shoot me in the face. Okay? So, him deciding to kill himself, because people hurt our feelings all the time. People break up all the fucking time. It don't go that far. He had other shit going on with him. And yes, it may have hurt his feelings, but I think he was already raw coming out of jail. So anything would have hurt his feelings, and he shouldn't have went on that fucking tour because there was too much shit going on for his brain to comprehend and move past it as quickly as it needed to. It was just all the shit that was happening just kept piling on to his already traumatized self. So, he already had this mountain of trauma. Then here come this hill. Then come this other hill. Then come this other hill. Until eventually the nigga collapsed. He couldn't hold that shit up. So it may have hurt his feelings. But you didn't call the nigga kill himself. He made that choice. That was a choice. You did not hold the gun to that nigga head and be like, pull the trigger. Like that bitch that was telling that nigga that she was dating to kill himself and shit. And they made like a show and a documentary about it. And she kept telling him over and over again. And he was in a sensitive state. And because he was having it validated internally and externally, he just decided to pull the trigger and shit. No, it's not one of them situations. So, He didn't cause that motherfucking nigga to kill himself. God rest his soul. This was a good season. So anyways, he was like, I'm not going to do that again. And I think that, there's a euphoric feeling to being out, and being in the closet probably hurts more than not for him. I'll say for him. Because some people, like niggas was doing it all the time. So some people can maintain that just for the money. But for him, being in the closet hurt worse than the potentiality of not being famous. Oh, that shit is crazy. The being in the closet hurt him worse. That is just not having the person he loves. He was putting love over fame, over money, over all of it. He said, "No, fuck that shit." You know how hard it is to be in this world that pressures you to do evil shit all the time, that normalizes evil shit and normalizes excess and hurting people and hurting yourself and making yourself tired and shit like that. To say no, I'm gonna do what's for me. It's so fucking hard. And those are the special ones. People say there's no special people in the world. Those are the special people. The people that can say, I'm gonna every day fight against this bullshit till the day I fucking die, just to maintain a little bit of myself. Not peace, but just to maintain who you are. And some moments in maintaining who you are, you will find peace. And it'll feel like a different type of peace, because you may find more moments of inauthentic peace, like fake peace and shit, if like you fall into the excess and you have sex all the time and you do drugs all the time just to numb out from all of the shit that's going on. But like, it makes it worse. It's because it's not real. It's not real peace. And when you come out of it, it's like you're even deeper emotionally in the hole than you were when you weren't in it. But like when you like have that peace from just being yourself and like loving yourself and being out there in the world and shit, like whatever your truth is and your story is, then it's like it don't feel as bad to go back into the world and do shit. It's like an armor almost. It's like whatever happens, whatever niggas say today, whatever I have to deal with, I'm gonna go home and have my motherfucking self though, nigga. You know what I mean? So you're not hiding. You just like, I'm gonna go home and have, and that's sturdy. That's a sturdy foundation. Other than like, I'm gonna go home and drown myself in liquor and feel even worse when I go to work today. So now I'm hungover and I gotta deal with this bitch talking to me and making me feel less than and shit. You know what I mean? Like, so over here it's like, I'm gonna go to work today and this bitch gonna talk shit or whatever, but the shit she's talking to me ain't got shit to do with me. Shit, something wrong with her. Cause I know me, and I know I ain't like that, and I know I'm a decent person, so I'm just gonna stand here and let her talk until she finished, so I can go do some shit. You see the difference? You see there's a difference. Yes. So that shit is fucking beautiful, masterfully done. You showing people that some things are worth more than money. I believe in the afterlife, so all this shit to me is temporary. I just be moving through life like, I just want money so I can go places and travel and get the fuck out of America. And I just want to get a fuck out of it. Maybe buy some land in a few countries and, you know, just be able to go if some shit happens and not have to deal with these things. If I deal with better things, there probably going to still be things to deal with, but maybe it'll be a little bit better. You know, or maybe just buy an island. Yes, buy an island, uncharted somewhere. You know what I mean? Build a nice situation on that motherfucker. And whenever shit get fucked up, just go to the island. That's all I want money for. Just go to the island. Make sure it's running water on that motherfucker somehow. Irrigate the ocean water, some shit. I don't know, but I need running water. I need a toilet. I need a shower. I can't. It's disgusting. You know, just it'll be magical. It will be magical. You know what I mean? So it's like, but other than that, I want to make heaven for me on earth for right now. That's my goal. But you know, other than that, I could care less about money. I just be like, it's nice to have so I can be comfortable. But beyond being comfortable, I'm like, you know, all the other stuff is just nice. That's nice. That's a nice bag. You know, them is some nice jewelries. You know, like this feels nice. You know, it's a nice outfit. You know what I mean? But it's like, they ain't poof. You know, like she's alive and shit. Nigga, like this is better than a bag. You know what I mean? So, you know, they did that masterfully, I think. What what y'all think? And so, you know, they end on them dancing in front of everybody at the strip club. So it was like a little medium coming out. It wasn't a full coming out because, you know, unless some nigga was there filming, some hater was there filming. Because I was looking around to see if there was, but they put all this blur around and did all this shit to make it extra romantic and shit. So some nigga might have been there filming. Who knows? And puts it out there, and now Lil Murda has to contend with, you know, the world. Unless he, you know, he was just gonna come out to the world eventually too. Who knows? First, you know, hood gay rapper, whatever. So, what was I gonna say? I think that's it. Who else? Oh, Keyshawn. I was gonna forget y'all niggas. I was gonna forget Keyshawn. So Keyshawn is getting ready to dip on all these hoes from episode 9. From the beginning of episode 9, she's talking with Haley one more time, getting her shit together. This bitch Thickums, whatever her name is, big ass, whatever. She irritates the shit out of me. Don't like this bitch. Here's Keyshawn leaving, and she acts like she's jealous of Keyshawn. So that's what I don't get, because we all know, we all seen the show. If you ain't seen the shit, spoiler alert, you shouldn't be watching this shit anyways. You know, if you don't want to hear spoilers, this is the review. Review and spoilers go together. And so, you know, she like jumped Diamond in a fucking parking lot. And then, like, I guess they were part of some, like, she basically, like, kidnaps Diamond. And the dude that's with her has on the ring Montavious hat. I remember that nigga name. Yes. Montavious hat. And then she gonna take her mask off. She's talking about, this the nigga that killed our lieutenant. And I'm just like, are they in the armed forces? Are they in a gang? Is this like the black mafia? Like, let me know, because lieutenants are in various different organizations, not just the armed forces. So I just need to know what are they talking about. But, you know, why are you jealous of Keyshawn when, you know, but you know what I mean? Like, I feel like you can still develop feelings for somebody, even if you a evil motherfucker. Even if you there on a mission to do whatever the fuck. You can still develop feelings for somebody. So, maybe she develops some slight, because he fine as fuck. I don't give a fuck. That nigga is beautiful. God bless him and his girlfriend that's pregnant. God bless. You know, because you have to acknowledge these things. You know, just like how I had to keep acknowledging when I did the Insecure thing, that Lawrence is married to a white woman in real life. So you can't be having these thoughts and fantasies about this nigga, because in real life he got somebody, and it ain't one of us. You know, just to remind myself, to keep myself grounded when I watch things and there's these beautiful ass niggas. And, you know, this nigga is taken in real life, so I can't be, you know, but he is beautiful. You can admire art, okay? Shit, God did something that day when he made that motherfucking man, and he did something great. and it's amazing. So I'm going to acknowledge that. I don't give a fuck. So anyways, they got this thing in the trunk. And so this bitch been snooping on him the whole time. She been like sneaking on this thing. She a spy. Something's going on. So we don't know. That's how the shit ended. So anyways, why is she jealous though of Keyshawn? She like upset. So I'm guessing she developed some emotional feelings for this nigga as well in the process of sneaking up on him and shit. So anyways, Keyshawn getting ready to leave this whole time. Nigga, let me tell y'all. Let me tell y'all. She getting ready to leave this whole time. We was rooting for this bitch. It was happening. It was going on. It was happening. It was going on. It was gonna happen. And this motherfucking white devil. So she got the money. She got the money from the club. I think they even gave her Mercedes money too, because there was money in the trunk. Haiti came out the next day with money, and then she got money from Lil Murda. And then Lil Murder gave her his car. That's like siblings. They're like siblings. You know, just the sisterhood, brotherhood with the sisterhood. This is how we're supposed to be. This is how black people are supposed to be. We're a tribe. So anyways, she's on the way to that nigga house. No, she on the way to her stepmom's house because she had left her kids with her sister. Look here. When people show you who they are, believe them the first time, you knew. And this is not blaming the victim. This is reminding folks what can happen when you trust people who have shown you who the fuck they are already. So, stepmom has shown that she's not just a trash bitch. She's a hateful hoe. Stepmom lives in that fucking house. Why wouldn't stepmom come for you? Why wouldn't she come for you? And you don't be thinking about this shit because when we go through trauma, you know, she was in a hurry. She was trying to get a babysitter as soon as possible. She wasn't thinking about the outliers. And, you know, I'm a bitch that thinks a lot. So it's like, whatever. So, you know, she didn't think about that shit. She just needed somewhere to stash her kids until she was done. This bitch calls Derek. This bitch calls Derek. Tells Derek that her kids are at that house. Derek picks up the kids before she pick up the kids, y'all. And I wanted to snatch this whole neck off. What's wrong with you? Like, you gonna put the children in danger? Is colorism that deep? Is it that fucking deep? That I mean, the children are light skinned. I mean, this bitch calls Derek, and Keyshawn goes back to the trailer. I don't care. It's a package. It's just that on top of everything else that this nigga's done just makes it all worse, okay? It's not the trailer by itself. They live in trailer parks are not horrible, evil people. It's that on top of every fucking thing else. So he goes back to the trailer. Goes inside the trailer. Nigga got her kids on the floor. And you know, the thing is, they gave her this little Red Riding Hood motif, so you kind of knew when she was leaving. When she left, what's his name, Lil Murder, when she got the money from him and she was leaving, she put her little red hood on, and I was just like, this bitch about to go to the wolves. And she don't even know it. Like, she got the picnic basket full of goodies and delight, going to pick up her children and go off into the sunshine, the sunset. This nigga is sitting in there on the couch asking her, oh, your mom, you know, and oh, the dude. So apparently, people are saying he called the police. He didn't call the police. The doctor made a report. That's why when the lady pulled the paperwork out and was talking about her visit to the doctor, when you come in and your children are bruised in places that they shouldn't be bruised, like, you know, when kids play, if they fall, they're going to fall on their knees, their elbows, the joints. Kids ain't going to play and then have a giant bruise across their back. So when you come in there with some shit that look like the kid's been abused, doctors, nurses, anybody who works with kids on a daily basis are mandated reporters. Maybe not even a daily basis. Even if you just work in a place that has kids walking in and out of it. I don't know. It depends on the state and the rules and laws and shit. But anyways, they're mandated reporters. That means that if they see some shit that look like child abuse, they are mandated to report that shit to child services or to the police if it's done in a school. And if they don't do that and it's found out the child's been abused and you knew about it as a mandated reporter, you can go to jail for 6 months. You can be fined like $1,500 or some shit like that, $15,000. It's something with a 1 and a 5. It's a lot of money. Shit like that can happen. And you know, if anything, even if you throw the morality out the window, most people don't want to go to jail or be fined money that they probably can't afford. Because therapists make, it depends. It depends on the time and the air and the rhythm of the sea. The season. But some can make some very little to a decent amount. And so, but most of us somewhere in the middle between very little and a decent. And most of us can't afford $15,000 fucking dollars off top. So, you know, the report came from the doctor or the nurse or whoever was working that day. He didn't call them, they called them. Where he is evil and fucked up, but it's expected because why would you admit it, you know, as a criminal? But where he is evil and fucked up is where he let her get arrested. He either lied and said that she did it, or, you know, he just made it seem like she did it by not answering questions and by making it seem like, oh, well, you know, the neighbors heard noises after you came back. Oh, well, you know, you took the child to the doctor that day. So, you know, that's stupid, innocent, but you know what the fuck you're doing type shit. And so, you know, he's an evil motherfucker. He's a devil. I mean, if anything, you know, he could have said, he could have lied and said the kids fell or some shit like that to not get her in trouble. But he let her get in trouble. One, to trap her there, because at first it was going to be she had to stay for 6 months and go through parenting classes and have visitations and all this stupid shit, or have people come and view her with the child at least once a week or some dumb shit for 6 months. And then she just fucking snapped, as she should. She just, something inside of her said, nigga. And she snapped and jumped on that nigga, and she was wailing on him. She wasn't doing nothing. She's little. But she was hitting him and shit, and then she reached back and hit the cop. And when she hit the cop, I was like, oh shit. So they arrested her, and he let her go to jail, and he's oh gosh, I never said I wanted the character killed off the show before, but I just hope people want him in jail. I want him, you know, I'm not gonna say it, because even if it's a fake character, it still doesn't feel right. So I'm not gonna say it, but fuck him. Fuck the life, fuck the soul, I can't say it where it sounds wrong. You know what I mean. Hateful ass bastard. I don't know how to feel. I don't know how to feel. And I just, you know, that shit was fucked up. And she in jail, she gonna call Diamond to come get her, and that's how Diamond got jumped, because he left the party to go get her ass, because he gonna always come running for Keyshawn, and Keyshawn know that. And I'm just like, Keyshawn, girl, this is a mess. You can't just call this nigga. See, but we're not thinking, because, you know, adrenaline and random shit and blah blah blah. We're not thinking, we're just being impulsive. And I'm just like, I'm off top, not the one to call for help when shit happens, which is something, you know, I work on in therapy or whatever the fuck. So, like, it wouldn't be my automatic thing to call for help. I would just be sitting there trying to figure out how I could get the fuck out of there on my own. Most likely I wouldn't have jumped that nigga. I would be trying to calculate. My mind jumps to calculating. When I'm like overwhelmed and shit, I'm just like, okay, how can I get out of here? What can I do? Because I think it's flight. There you go. See, fight, flight, or freeze. I'm a flighter. But you gotta think to flight. You can't just like run, or you run into a wall or some shit. I mean, like, you don't have to think, but you know what I mean. So I have to think. So I would be thinking. So I'd be looking at her, and I just be like, damn, girl, you was just doing shit. you wasn't thinking. But like, I can't be mad at you because when you in some shit like that, you ain't thinking. So, it was horrible. I'm still upset about that. I need a third season. Hopefully, I mean, it looks like enough people have watched. I hope people talking about it and shit for it to be a third. I need 3 seasons. I need 3 seasons. I need to know what happened next in this situation here with Keyshawn and her children. I need to know. Did she get her children to get the fuck away from this nigga? Like, oh my gosh, I can't. Oh. Did she get her children? And did she get the fuck away from this nigga? Can you, I don't even care if she gets with Diamond or not. Diamond's on his own journey. Something's going on with him. He got stabbed in the side. He may bleed to death, but he's a big ass nigga. They may have just stabbed him in a muscle, and that's what's bleeding, not like an organ or like an artery or some shit. I'm not a doctor. I'm just, imagining that if you get stabbed in a muscle, you wouldn't die as readily as if you were stabbed in like an artery or an organ. Like, I'm just thinking you wouldn't. So he has a lot of muscles on his stomach. That's like an armor. That's like armor to keep him from like dying immediately. So maybe he'll get away, or he'll die in the trunk. And it is what it is. God bless him. They'll kill him off this show. Well, maybe he'll move on to bigger and better things like the other light skin. Shut up, bitch. So what did you think of the season finale of P-Valley? I hope it's not a serious finale. I would like to see that Keyshawn gets her children and gets the fuck away from this nigga. But, I thought it was good. I'm so happy that Uncle Clifford gets to be with the love of her life. And they, they're going to be together and it's going to be magical. And I'm so happy that Mercedes got her studio and her daughter. Magical. Love it. Great. And, Haley, Uncle Clifford got her, club back. So, like, Haley got her twins. And she off into the ether, doing whatever with her money and her twins. Andre and his wife are in a sad marriage. This is a horrible existence. I would not. I can't deal with ongoing secrets and mess and lies. And I just... manipulations, and I half-heartedly care about you, and I'm not doing. And she would just slowly irritate me over time, and I would just like snap. Like, everything in here is fake. Everything in here are lies. I can't be here. I can't be in this. What is happening? I couldn't do it. I could not. No. So they're in some sad relationship, marriage situation, and he's going to stay in Chuckalisa and be a lawyer or whatever. And his wife is going to uplift her whole life and live with him as, sad people in sad relationships do. God bless. And grandmother's alive. They did not kill off Loretta Devine because she is a movie star. We do not kill off movie stars from our show. No, we don't. And, Derek will hopefully be unalived. I love this new word that the Gen Z have for like dead and shit. It's magical. Derek will hopefully be unalived because he does not deserve it. He does not deserve to be in this world because he is a chaotic force that continuously hurts people and will spread his trauma to his children. And one of them may end up being a serial killer and hurting people, or just grow up being very sad and lonely and depressed all the time until one day they get help and figure it out and have to heal from the war that they've had inside of them since they were born. He's just a spreader of chaos. He's not conducive to this world. Like, he's never going to recognize that he has a problem. No, he's not. He's a narcissist. He's a sociopathic narcissist. Maybe he's just a sociopath. Does he want notoriety and attention? No. I think he's just a sociopath. He's a sociopath. He gets off on hurting her. He doesn't care. And then he like self-loathes and shit as like, you know, a manipulation tactic to get pity. And that's not real. Like, he doesn't like himself. Of course he doesn't. But like, that's to manipulate. That's all it is. He's not going to get help. He's not going to work himself. He's not going to grow, build. And if they do show some storyline where he does, how do you put that together? Like, what do you... I don't... You know, there's just some people in this world that do not want to get back. It's a want. I don't want to change. You can't make me. So they could if they wanted to. It's possible if they wanted, but they're not going to want to. So there's some people that's going to be this way forever. And so why have those people around other people who don't want to hurt and want to be like content in their life and happy and themselves and at peace? Why have them around other people? So, you know, put him under the jail then. You know, put him under the jail. You know, like somewhere away from people. Because he does not know how to people in a healthy, conducive way. Yes. And, you know, Corbin has his, you know, situation where he gets to pretend to be white for a little bit because he brought in money to his family. And, you know, they'll like him for a little bit until, like, the casino gets, like, whatever, and people are used to it and bored and whatever. And, you know, the first problem with building the casino that comes up, and it's going to be Corbin's fault because he's the family scapegoat and whatever. And, you know, he's still going to be treated the same because his brothers are the type of people that aren't going to change either. But he doesn't care. So, you know, he gets off of that humiliation fetish and shit. But, like, it's cool to have that, but not to actively be in toxic situations where you're being toxically humiliated. Like, there needs to be structure, needs to be a safe word, you know, there needs to be like scheduling done and aftercare and you know what I mean? Like this is just unwarranted evil that's constantly being directed at him with no control of the flow or direction of the evil. And who can combat that? Like, you know, like he just puts himself in those situations. Like, he likes that shit. So God bless him and his character. And, you know, them are the folks in P Valley. Wody, we didn't see Wody. I think he got a little part in number 9 where he asked whatchamacallit Murda where he was for the tour. There you go. You know, there you go. He out there asking questions and waxing his car and shit. Yep. So, I hope you enjoyed this review. And there will be more reviews and more videos on mental health. I haven't done a video on mental health in a while. I'm going to do one. I'm going to do a video on mental health, on something mental health, therapy, mood. And, you know, thank you for watching. As you see, there may be some commercials on this shit. So, I'm monetized. Congratulations to me. God bless. And so, you know, the more people that watch, the more change and pennies and quarters I get in my thing that they send the monies to. So, if you know of the people that would like to watch, you can like share and, you know, subscribe and like, and, you know, comment nice things that don't cause people anxiety and makes me want to not read the comments. You know, so all them things, but, you know, at your leisure, you don't gotta, no one's forcing you to, you know, do all of that. But, you know, it would be nice to one day open the thing and be like, wow, there's enough in here for me to pay for rent without dipping into the other monies from my private practice. Look at that. That's fucking magical. Because shit like that is nice. And I wish that upon everybody, that everybody will be blessed with monies and supplemental incomes and their own businesses and the lottery and monies, because everybody deserves to have things and be comfortable. So yeah, if you would please, thank you. Okay, I hope you enjoyed, and I will be back with another video probably next week, because I want to do a therapy one. And so maybe next, I'm not gonna make promises, because then if I don't, be like, where the fuck is she? And be like, I was sleeping. The sleep was good. That's where I was. So, but I hope you enjoy, and later days.